Come
It's
over
lovely
sometime in
to,
Ipswich.
yeah, specifically in COVID times when we are all stuck at home, working from home. It's lovely to see so much of interaction going on. Happy to see everyone talking, nice smiling faces. A pleasure and a very honorable moment also for all of us to welcome him. So on the behalf of the JUIT alumni cell and the head of the JUIT alumni cell, Professor Bansal, and specifically our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sharma, and our Dean, Sir, and of course, one of the most popular faces and most popular faculty of JUIT, Professor Gupta. I take this honor, and from all the family of JUIT, all our students, and specifically the members of the JUIT cell, I very pleasurably and with a lot of honor welcome Suhail be a part of this talk, and thank him to be here with us and to share his views. A little not an introduction, I would say, just a little about Suhail. So Suhail Sharma, he's an IPS officer and he's currently in public service. He's a currently public service scholar at University of Oxford. He's also been the Deputy Commissioner of Police in Mumbai. He adds a lot of laurels to his entire tenure. He's and I'm very proudly share this with you all today, that he was the youngest recipient. He is rather the youngest recipient of the Director General insignia. He's also scaled Mount Everest from the Tibet, the north face of the Mount Everest, which is supposed to be one of the toughest side, and he climbed this side, and he's brought a lot of honors, and therefore he's brought a lot of praises. He's seen a lot of I think appreciation, not think, but he's had a lot of appreciations from almost the entire Indian side, from a lot of celebrities, from a lot of politicians, from his peers, from all of us and everyone. So that makes us so proud of him. So proud of him. Besides this, he's also served in the Naxal affected area of Chandrapur, where he was acclauded and applauded for his to maintain a lot of order and peace there. He's that's again a very noteworthy mention of what he has been doing and how he has been serving the country. So in 2016, May 20, that is when he had scaled Mount Everest, and I need not tell. I think we all know that scaling Everest is such a tremendous task, a task of bravery, and not many can do it. So that that adds, or that talks volumes about not only about his character, but about his perseverance, his motivation, his integrity, and I can go on adding a lot of adjectives to that. So, and of course with that comes that if he's he's all the way being adding to a lot of say what India wants, what we look for the youth in India today. And I'm sure he's here today to guide us, to motivate the entire JUIT family, and to share his experiences. And we have, I think all of us here present today have volumes to learn from him, get motivated, get inspired, and of course add his little tips, his little advices into our own lives and become better persons. So with that, I also today we will be unveiling the logo of the JUIT alumni cell. I call upon Nitika to please present the logo.
Saransh, logo.
Just a second.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nitika Sharma, Head of Media and Publicity, Alumni Cell, and this is our new logo. Also, please engage in our social media handles for regarding updates of Alumni Cell. Thank you.
That's very beautiful logo. Thank you, Nitika, so much. I would like to call Professor Saurabh Bansal to say a few words. He's also heading the JUIT Alumni Cell.
Thank you, Dr. Tanu.
Saurabh?
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Tanu. Very good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I would like to welcome our today's speaker and prestigious guest, Mr. Suhail Sharma, for giving his time and give us an opportunity to talk with our students and give us some there about journey. So I would like to extend a warm welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajan Kumar Sharma sir, our respected Dean of Academics and Research, Professor Ashok Kumar Gupta sir, and all all heads of the department to this alumni talk. I also welcome to all my colleagues, students, and alumni and participants from other institute. I also welcome to all alumni of 2006 and 7 batch who are here after a long time. So I welcome you all here.
Thank you.
So I take this opportunity to brief about this JUIT Alumni Cell. So Alumni Cell is an entity that represents JUIT in alumni relations and endures to be a primary linkage between the university and its global family of alumni, committing them to the university's lifelong learning, discovery, and participation, and attracting them to university service. We aspire to provide and support alumni programs and services, facilitate communication with alumni, and seek to strengthen our alumni bonds of fellowship, professional association, and university affiliation. I can proudly say today that more than 7,000 students from diverse departments have graduated from JUIT, and they are really doing very well in their current positions. In last decades, our students have dispersed across the country and even internationally in quest of growth, learning, and knowledge, and their achievements have made an impact everywhere. We are ecstatic that our students have established themselves as successful persons in nearly every aspect of their lives. I would also like to say that the fame of an institution is built not only on its administration and teaching staff, but also on the accomplishments and development of its alma mater. Nothing could be more exhilarating, more us, than celebrating the achievements of our students who have gone above and beyond. So Mr. Suhail is one of our distinguished alumni of batch 2006 from branch ECE, the first batch of JUIT, who has achieved various milestones in the short period of his journey. As Dr. Tanu has already introduced his big accomplishments, either it may be the position of IPS or scaling up of highest peak of the world, Mount Everest. He did the things wonderfully in his career. His accomplishments motivate each and everyone. He has proven to be an excellent role model for prospective university students and a tremendous source of motivation for young people. I congratulate him for each achievement and hope, Suhail, you will always be connected with us and continue to encourage our students to succeed in their future efforts. Before we begin with this webinar, I also take this opportunity to congratulate my student executive team for organizing this alumni talk webinar. This will definitely create a special bonding between our students and the alumni who have established themselves already in the big outside world. An alumni talk is an excellent opportunity for all students to meet their alumni and learn their experiences. So today I hope all of participants, all of students here will not only enjoy this talk, but also learn a lot from his journey. And finally, I would like to congratulate Suhail again and wish him the best of luck for his future accomplishments. I also invite him to visit his on campus as per his available time schedule. Whenever he get the time, I always love to see him here in the campus so that he can physically motivate our students, and we can also acknowledge his accomplishment physically at our on campus. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Tanu.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saurabh. Now I would like to would request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajendra Kumar Sharma, to share a few words with us. Professor Sharma, VC sir.
Yes, thank you, Tanu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Am I audible, please?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon to you all. I'll say only a few words. I'll not say much, since there are a lot many things that have been said. But yes, this is Suhail, very true that we need the motivators, we need the leaders like you in our country. We really need the people who can actually motivate, who can actually tell our youth that yes, that this is the right path for success. This actually becomes very important for the young minds. I know you also might have experienced that here, that there are many different paths that these young minds see in their life, at least in the age when they are here in the university. And yes, some of them really take a difficult path in life. So this is actually very important that the leaders like you and your friends who are here, they really help us to grow this university even a better place. And it is also important that we get the help from our passed out students in any form they can contribute. I actually keep on requesting my students that you can actually have your contributions in different forms. Like the most important is this, that you can always guide us that what is the path that the university should take, what kind of curriculum that we should have here. I mean, I'm really very open for that. The advices, the suggestions that will come from alumni, the passed out students of this particular university, I will certainly be looking into that very, very positively. So with these words, I also congratulate you, Suhail, on all your accomplishments. And as Saurabh is saying, that probably we will meet sometimes in person. And I wish that you keep on doing these good things in life, and may God be with you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you all for joining this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to call the Dean ANR of JUIT, Professor Ashok Kumar Gupta, to also share some words with us.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Tanu ma'am, Dr. Saurabh Bansal, guest of the today guest, Suhail Sharma IPS, our own student, Achyut Sharma, Nitika, all my ex-students present here, my alumni, dear students, my head of departments, faculty members. Suhail Sharma is from our first batch, and he became a IPS from first batch itself. So this speaks about the volume of this university, the work of this university. There may not be many universities in which first batch student become a IPS officer in India. I can give so many name of good institution where first batch has not scaled up to this high. We should applaud. And but one thing I should not say much, but one thing I should say, a person who has become IPS in 2012, and we are calling him after 10 years, it speaks about how much eager we are actually. We are not doing justice actually. Our alumni cell should have called him in 2013, 2014. So this thing has to be looked after, because getting feedback from alumni 94, 90, And these students who are very bright, recently graduated from here, went to Oxford, become IPS officer, they are going to different industry. Their feedback is very important to us. So I will request my alumni also that they should send feedback frequently to us. And I am really thankful that, okay, it is never late. Actually, we could join, he has given his time. And in future, he will come to the campus physically also. I am thankful to Bansal for making all the efforts. Achyut always called me 10 times before any event, sir, kindly join. So students are very keen to have these activity, but somehow we are also not doing justice in last 10 years for calling alumni, or we are not active on this platform. So let us hope that we will be more active in future. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, I'm sure Alumni Cell is going to be very active. And I would like to mention that VC sir has been pushing us, and VC sir has been guiding us. And from the time...
No, that when we were doing well, it means when I am happy, I am not meeting anybody. Now I am little bit unhappy, I am meeting everybody.
Yes,
so,
sir.
अभी गुप्ता जी, सुहेल गुप्ता जी काफी गुस्सा में है, I don't know क्यों, but yes, देर आए दुरुस्त आए, sir. Let us keep on doing this kind of activity. Yes.
Actually, my point is that we should have tried earlier also too much. Now we are trying when we are too late. So hope that now it will go smoothly in future. And thank you, Suhail, for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ashok sir. I think JUIT Alumni Cell is going to be, has been, I think from past 1 year, been very active. And as I mentioned, VC sir has been guiding us, and these are actually, VC sir has pushed Saurabh and to work, more diligently and more, with more efforts. And this time the alumni student cell has been very active. These students have been very closely and very, passionately working towards, to do activities and to get in touch with all the alumni and arrange talks like this. So I think the student cell needs an applaud here, and of course VC sir also, who has very beautifully pushed all of us to arrange such kind of talks. And
actually, it is my mistake also that a person has been known to me hardly 6-7 months back. I should have known him at least in 2012. I am here 2007. So my mistake also.
Yes, sir. No,
so
sir.
We are not people. We are not connecting with the people. We are not outreaching. That is the problem.
So this is my more active now.
Let us listen from Suhail.
Yeah. Let's make good opportunity now.
I can see, I can see Suhail is being all, कि मेरी बारी कब आएगी, अब मुझे बोलने दो.
I'm cool.
Yeah. So it's an honor to welcome you, Suhail, here. Please share all your wisdom. We are all ears to what you have to share with us. Thank you, Suhail. All yours.
Thanks for such elaborate, talks on how good I have achieved in life and what I have been doing. For me, it has always been work in progress, and it will remain the way forever till the last. But still, I would first of all at the outset would like to thank Tanu ma'am for such flowery, such amazing, things you said about me. I really value that. I would like to thank Sudhir sir, as I can see him, and because we had such fond memories. Vivek sir, such fond memories, and I'm so glad that they're able to get time and make it here. I would like to thank Saransh from the Alumni Cell. He's a third-year student, and with everything going the way it is, had he not been following me and my schedules, I would have not been able to make it. I personally would like to thank him immensely. Also, Nitika and Achyut, you have been an amazing team. Bansal sir, with all alumni, as having more than 2 years at home, I think there is less blame we can put on them right now. But at the same time, they have been doing such amazing work, and under your leadership, I congratulate you too on that. And I am very sure that anything for 𝐿MNSL, I would like to be part with it. I would love to be part with it. I would like to thank Gupta sir, the Dean sir. Sir, Dera Durustai from VC sir, I think it is a poetic end to your anguish. I completely understand it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And I completely understand it. But at the same time, I would say that I will try to make it. I will try.
Please advise others to mute them. Ma'am, please advise others to mute themselves.
Please, I would request
Yeah,
all of you to please mute yourself. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so your anguish is completely justified, and it's not that you have been from 2007 and I was there from 2006. So there is, I'm also at fault. Maybe I was too much in the maze of the real world that I forgot the cozy corners of life, which was 𝐺UIT. So I'm very sorry for that, and I will try to make up for it in times. I would also like to thank Sharma sir, Vice Chancellor of the university, and I'm sure under your leadership, many students have brought laurels to the families, to the friends, to the colleges, and they will continue doing so in times to come. And I wish everyone, like from bottom of my heart, for organizing this and saying such great things about me. Now going ahead, I would like to go back to the memory of my university, and I would like back to go to the good old days, which always, like, I'm still in a university, so you can right now imagine, right now I'm in my house in the Oxford University. So it's from university to university. So I have not changed a bit. I can still run 20 kilometers without thinking. I could run then too. I started reading, which was, I think, a change which happened. Earlier I used to observe. So, from university to university, I think, when I was thinking about 𝐺UIT and how the university has been such an asset to me, and here when I think about the infinite walks through the mall, and your tiredness was not related to how quick you sweat. It's on till the time some other one is still walking, and he kept on walking. So and the times in the in the laboratories when you just pester your besties to get your experiments done, and still failing because your besties were equally bad. And then in the classrooms, finding way out, smarter, shorter ways, as we say, jugaad. And there I learned that there are resume qualities, or the resume which are I would like to term CV values, resume values, how important they are. So resume values include the values of knowing maybe a couple of programmings, knowing how Python is done, how ML is done, how other R is done, and other number of other automation is done. But is it all what it is? So a couple of weeks back, Eric Schmidt happened to visit my university. So we were talking on something on technology, and I'm sure some of you guys must be working on Google, working in Google maybe. So Eric Schmidt was a former CEO. So he and there was another guy, James, who joined Google just now as second in Google. James. So both and they were talking about the talk was on the values of skills. So it's a very interesting thing because skills have expertise. Skills bring in, it is the instruments of productivity. But I think that values of skills is something which I listen to, and I realize that going ahead, that will be something which will be again to all of us, and especially to a college like JUIT, which skills people. So when I say this, I was talking about the resume values, and Mr. Schmidt talked about the philosophy of technology and how important is to learn philosophy, how important is to understand, and because technology comes with a lot of greed. Innovation is brilliant, but also it brings in infinite aspirations. So philosophy brings in the right locks to the doors which need to be regulated, if not closed. So I think this is something which I realized later in life, how important is to be magnanimous, be kind, be humble, and at the same time be smart. So this is as everyone was talking about me, like I did that. This is like when somebody goes to someone's when somebody leaves us from this goddamn earth, and you all go and see the family, you say great things about that. That's called the 𝐒𝐻ology values, or the 𝐒𝐻ology skills, like people talk after you. So I think between the resume values and the 𝐒𝐻ology values, there's a huge space. So I would say everyone that whichever technology industry you work with, try to be kind and try to be big-hearted and magnanimous. And I'm sure that skills were, unfortunately, and I'm not any commentary on anyone, that skills are not taught in any school, not even at Oxford. So, but these school skills I learned from my friends who are right now here. We have Pranav here. He was one of our stars from hostel number 3. Then as I see, we have Rajiv here, we have Krishna here. So these skills I learned from them. I remember very, very fondly, and how, the whole metamorphosis of support, of emotions, of, giving, all developed. There are many who are not here. I wish there are 146 participants, but I don't know. But if I name a few, I learned so much from my friends. 𝐒𝐻aurya was there, Tapesh was there, Prashant was there. So these values, I think that is what allowed me to do things which skills would have never let me. There are no skills in this world which cannot be gathered in 3 months' time if you are reasonably smart. But that skills doesn't decide. That skills can make you a CEO, but not a leader. So the choice is between a CEO and a leader. And I think we should, always make sure that, the bonds of friendship are strengthened and they are nurtured and they are cared and they are prolonged till you live. So you have a good 𝐒𝐻ology also, and in between. So this is something which, I really am thinking about JUIT. I'm really get very fond of. And one of my friends is not here, and for the sake of oath of secrecy, which we took long years back for friends, it's called the bro code. We will not break it. So one of the cautions I would like to give to the batches who are there, that never fell in love with a girl from a village near the college. You might kill yourself. So always be careful. My batchmates know with whom I'm talking about. With the ones who don't know, we can arrange it later. But yeah, have your long walks all the way, but be careful. Be careful. Don't get killed there. Yeah. So just like when I was in JUIT, I got into hostel number 2, but it was not long I was there, because then we had the hostel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 came later. But it was not very early that I had to leave, and we became the true sentinels of JUIT, because we shifted to Waknaghat. We were the outpost of the college. We protected the college. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we were the sentinels. Yeah. So we stayed there, and we had such amazing times walking our, journeys of 3.2 kilometers, if I'm not wrong, way back to college every day. And then time came and 3-wheelers started, and then sumo started, and the whole expenses were on how to reach there free, of course. So we started talking to friends who, the drivers who were in the water tankers, to make it cheaper for us. And they were very kind to give a free ride, but it was a dangerous ride though, but a free one, so it worked. So and then when I remember very fondly about the helicopter, the helipad. It was my first helipad of my life. I never seen what is helipad, and that was the time I struggled with my Hindi a lot. So coming from Punjab in Amritsar, and I think it was sometime in 2006. Yeah. Oh, sorry, 2002. I'm so sorry. I was, and I always thought I was speaking in Hindi till the time my friends told it's Punjabi. So it was really bad. So yeah, so I remember that helipad was had such a admiration in our minds, and then there was no picture. I happened to have a phone very late. My father was very strict, so my phone came very late, but my pictures came very quick. So I started clicking pictures around the helipad. There was a temple there, and then the memories of I'm sure everyone knows it, how to innovate with a Maggie. And I would like to have a confession where I request VC sir and Dean sir not to implicate me now, because it is too long ago, so the memory should be fading by. That I have also stolen Maggies from the college rationing shop. So my batch, we had a H3, the hostel number 3, on the ground floor had a rationing shop, and Maggies were not available because that was a time when it was a small college and we didn't had such flourishing businesses running around. So that time we innovated. As I said, we should innovate, but the value comes in that we always used to share the Maggie. So here the value of innovation comes, as I was talking about. So have the skills to get the things done, but then distribute it so that everyone is a criminal. It's a conspiracy, not an individual effort. So we did it so many times. So these memories always close to my heart. And Pranav is saying that, we used to brag about it, that we have a helipad in our college. But later we realized that people asked, do you have academic block? I said, no, we don't have one. So our helipad came before the academic block. So but it was such a amazing journey, and it will always remain. So I will close my JUIT memory with one last thing, and which I really don't know why I did so and why should anyone do so. So I got used to hitchhiking. I never knew what is hitchhiking. Reaching Chandigarh for free was an exercise which is a to-do. So I think I've stopped paying to anyone going to Chandigarh after I think I was in second year. So I used to hitchhike, asking people for lifts, and they were very generous, they were very kind, and it worked. But the last day when I left, no one gave me a hike. And the reason I should tell you, the last day in JUIT, I was standing at outside. Yeah, Nilesh, I know, man, you're also there, and we ran. Nilesh has messaged me that Nilesh and me used to run together to 𝐃𝐢𝐫𝐞, I remember, and he used to come back early. Yeah, so no one gave me a thing. The reason was I have just imagine. I really feel like what goes in the mind of that, that young mind when they do things which right now doesn't sound stupid, but at least sound bizarre. So I had no books with me leaving the JUIT. I just had a huge, gunny bag of weights, exercise weights, and 2 rods in my hand, and I'm trying to catch a bus. And I was just wondering, when I reached home back in Amritsar, and my father very, sarcastically said that Sacha Sauda karke aaya. Do you know Sacha Sauda? Sacha Sauda is a very, if you're from Punjab, so Baba Nanak ne 13 tolta si, Sacha Sauda kita si. So like 4 years, he said, we sent you with everything, and he came with weights. That's it. So he sarcastically said to Sacha Sauda karke aaya. But I think that was a Sacha Sauda for me. I made such amazing friends, and we all grow in life. We become starting from a software engineer, we become a, director, or we become a managing director. But I think that journey, whatever you gain for these, there is some soul which is lost in the way. So it is very important for us to preserve, conserve, strengthen, nurture that soul. And I think coming to this platform is one opportunity which I consider I'm lucky to have. So now going ahead, I suffered from very low confidence in the classes, but I used to match up with things outside the classes, and I struggled to how to know people score 6 on this SGPA, because I had no clue that how is it possible to score 6, because I couldn't. And I have like a band of friends who made sure I never felt alone at that, the last decile of the class. You don't feel alone. You really need to have strong friends. Raghav never left me, Raghav Dubey. And there are many. But I realized that how important are grades, no? So it's not that I never wanted to have good grades. I always wanted to have good grades. But unfortunately, one of my very close friends, Shamal Saurabh, so we were together. So this guy was a good guy. Is a good guy. He's an amazing friend. And so he always used to score high, and I couldn't. For me, it was, if I was at 5, I was good. Raghav, if he is not at 5, it means he is at 4, not even at 6. He's at 4. So it was not a very lonely space, but it was a very happy space because we learned together, and the whole things fell on us when the placements happened. And here I would say I would be, I got placed very early. I got placed in the first lot, and that was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. I couldn't tell my friends, because I remember Rachit, I was roll number 59, Rachit was roll number 60, Shamal was roll number 58, and they were like just looking that there is something wrong in this company who took this guy. There is either there is an edit issue or there is something wrong with the company. And I realized that I had a good fun. Like, to be very frank, I still remember Shamal's word when I got selected. So I don't know how, he said that there was something called PDA, the personal digital assistant, which came very popular in 2006. He said that now you will be using a PDA, and I googled it, and there was like no Google. I like searched it, what is a PDA, just to make sure that I'm not, I don't look ignorant in front of Shamal. But yeah, that memories of small enjoyments of life. And then I started teaching people. Just imagine somebody not even scoring reasonably enough was teaching people how to get placed. And I really don't know like anybody succeeded in that, but yeah, it was such good fun. After my I started working, but I really got I would say I got bored very quickly. I started working in Java J2E frameworks, and I was really it was not my space. I was not very happy. I loved the city where I was. I was in Pune then, but I didn't like it much. And then so yeah, Kha sir said that you never wanted to work on softwares. Yeah, you're right, sir. So you know that we had a turn with Shaurya. So Shaurya and me, my Shaurya is like a very dear friend. So Shaurya is right now wing commander in Indian Air Force, and a very inspirational guy. And we never wanted to do softwares. It's not that it's amazing. It's really powerful. It's changing the world very quickly. But I think I wanted to do something different. But I didn't know what to do, because there were times when also being survivability is also a very important expectation from your family. So then in 2009 I got H1B, and I got H1B is a employment centric visa and things. And what I did then was like really stupid, and I would like to share. But when I say stupid, as I earlier said, it's not bizarre. This is actually stupid, because my birthday is on 30th November, and I was expected to join the organization. It was in a place called Omaha, which is in Nebraska in US. And my family, typical Punjabi family, very happy कि मुंडा चला है, foreign चला है. So that's how it is. And then on my 30th of November, I remember I gave myself a gift. I resigned from the organization. And then I left Pune, and that was a journey which was, I would say, I was alone, but not lonely for sure. So here also, when I say friends, I would like to bring that home. So I took a morning train at 7:30 from Pune. Next day I reached Nizamuddin, and to be like, I'm not exaggerating even 1%, because you can confirm it with the guys because you know these guys. So the train ticket was around 850, and I had a fight in a sleeper because there were people who were trying to be a little whatever. So I had to shift to what is it called, the third AC, yeah. So I had to pay 1200 more, 400 more. I didn't have the money. I called Raghav Dubey to come at the Nizamuddin station when I reach tomorrow and pay the TT 400 rupees. And he came outside, he paid the TT, and he took me to his house. When I say his house, Arvind was there. Arvind, another friend of mine. And anyone who knows, we're talking about Noida. So Nikita is from Noida, so she can tell that sometime back there was a confused revenue land between Noida and Gurgaon and Delhi. It's called New Ashok Nagar. So this place was like because there was no party claiming the stake. So this was basically a slum which came up illegally. And there I stayed with Raghav for 2 months. And my first tuition fees, because so the thing was, I never told my family that I've left my job. I wanted it to be my decision, because it's always good to go down the league which is your decision, rather than your family knowing that you take such decisions. So I never told my parents that I left my job. And my first when I shifted after 2 months, it was living in Ashok Nagar, I got so much the whole support system which I got from Raghav was so immense that no words can put it across. But he knew that I had no money. I was like, I used to spend all what I earned, and now as my parents didn't knew it, so they were saying this guy is like earning, so it's okay. So Raghav had been so here. Then 2 months later, I joined my first coaching, and you won't believe, my first coaching, we had 3 of my friends pooling 10,000 rupees. And it was 32,000 rupees for my first coaching. And it was again my friends. So, and then I started staying and working hard, and I was lucky. I would say that that was like, in it's not that I do like studies. I love studies rather, but I have my own ways of studying. So in that 2 years, rather it was like 2 months shy of 2 years, I had such amazing learning experience, which I think never happened in my life. I was thankfully I was able to clear things in the first attempt also. I was just 1 mark away from the merit, and then in the second I just cleared it with the All India rank of 172. And here you are, things change. And then I became an IPS officer. And then our society is structured in a way that some jobs are, there are some values attached to some job, and being a colony for over 250 years, and we tend to appreciate authority a lot, and that is the reason which I personally think which is not right, and I'm working for it. And but that is how it is. So also we are feudalistic. When I say feudalistic, please, all my friends who are from South India, it's not for you. It's not for you. Feudalism runs in our blood, like patriarchy runs in our blood. So I got a lot of applause, and that was a time when like you have arrived kind of thing. But I always think that, as I said, it's work in progress. It's always work in progress. So I joined IPS, and I did something. I really enjoyed everything. I had never done horse riding, but I became equestrian. So I used to do professionally in equestrian. And if somebody wants to ask a question, you're free to ask, because I'm not following the hands. If Saransh, you can just queue it up for me, and then we can take it one.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
Suhail, I think we have a question and answer session. Once you finish with your talk, I think students can come up with their questions to you.
Wonderful. So yeah, so that was a time when I always think it's work in progress, and then there's an interesting thing which I will like to tell you, which looks little it's surreal to say the least, but it is also, I would say, serendipity, because it's chance which happens. I have never stolen things in life except the Maggie, okay? But in 2011, I was in a library and I stole a book. I don't know why I stole it, but I think you must listen to this. The book name was Man of the Mountain. It was an autobiography of Sir Tenzing Norgay, the first man who reached the summit of Mount Everest. I stole that book and I came, and in 2011, I never read it. I was in my IPS training, though IPS training is not very tough, as some people would like to believe, but it gives you a lot of exposure. So I started, I used to enjoy few things like running, shooting, horse riding, and I just try to crystallize my skills on these three formats. And I was reasonably fit for most of the things which normal human body should be able to do. But then this book I was reading in 2013, and there was a small story that when Tenzing Norgay reached the summit, so his mother belonged to a place called Solo-Khumbu. Solo-Khumbu is a district in Nepal. It is at a height of 3,200 meters. It is a place in the higher mountains. So when he reached his village, Thame, his village name is Thame. So he was asked by his mother that, did you see goddess Komulungma? Goddess Komulungma is the goddess who is in the Tibetan mythology, is seen to reside on the top of the mountain. So when the question was asked by the mother and Tenzing said no, her mother was very disappointed, because she had believed all her life that goddess Komulungma lives on the top of the mountain. But the second question she asked was that, did you see the Rombuk monastery from the summit? On this, Mr. Norgay said, yes, I did saw Rombuk monastery. I am not very sure did he saw or did he not, because when I was on the top of the Everest, I did not. And it is not possible to see two. Talking only injured, there is no way you can see that monastery. But still, I think he wanted to keep, his mother happy. So this Rombuk monastery kept resonating with me. I never knew what is it. I was like that, that hypnotism happens, that it never leaves you. You always remember Rombuk monastery. It kept in my mind, always. So one fine day in 2013, I went to climb. Everest was not in my mind. So I was climbing mountains in Ladakh. So there's a mountain called Stok Kangri. There's a mountain called Golap Kangri. So I happened to climb these mountains in 2013. And I went alone. I liked climbing these. They were very difficult for somebody who just initiated, but it was good learning for me because I made my big mistakes and very, very big mistakes. But that mistakes also taught me that I can persevere, and which I did. So one of the mistakes which I made while climbing was that I borrowed there is something called crampons. Crampons are if you have seen long needled metal needles which you put under your shoes. And I just bought a very poor quality crampons from one of my friends. I borrowed it, and that almost killed me. I had a very bad fall of over 300 feet on the chest of the mountain. I had no skills. My 𝐼𝐧𝐸, which was on my right hand, I tried to use my 𝐼𝐳𝐸 to get a hold on the ice, but couldn't, because I was sloping down as the gravity takes you. So couldn't do that. But I managed to stay alive somehow with the grace of God. And then I realized that, Suhail, here you need skills. So when I say resume skills, so here I required resume skills. I needed to learn. So I went to a place called HMI, Himalayan Mountaineering Institute. That institute is in a place called Darjeeling. It's the institute under the Ministry of Defense and one of the finest in the world, not in the country. So just to put up a marker, the famous adventurer Bear Grylls also was a student at HMI. He took his courses at HMI. The Bear Grylls, the man versus wild guy. So yeah, so going ahead, I did my basic course there. I did my advanced course. I did my special course. And I thought I was much more prepared for it because that is very much required. So that was the time I started thinking of Mount Everest. And, that book had, I was talking about the Rome Book Monastery. There was some hypnotism which was going at the back of my mind. I was not able to articulate it, but yeah, there was something like this. I went to Everest in 2015, and that was a very, very difficult thing for me personally. I would not like to go into the details of that, but still, yeah, it was one of the toughest times of my life. But not the Everest climb. Everest climb was not that tough. Before that, I lost my father. So I had to go for the expedition just the next month. So which was a very, very challenging thing on a personal front. But, I always feel that you cannot stop now when you've decided once. So I went, and in the mountains also, I was like, first I was climbing some other places in Nepal. There are some other circuits in Nepal. Anyone interested can ping me later. I can tell more on that. But yeah, I was on Everest, and I was having good time, and we're just climbing up, down. And then the unfortunate thing happened, which changed me a lot, I would say. So what happened was on 24th of April 2015. So that on 23rd of April 2015, rather, we had we all do a puja before climbing the Everest. So we completed with the puja, and the protocol or the tradition is that whichever day you finish, the day you do your puja, the next day you have to go to the higher camps. So no, rather 22nd. So we left for the higher camps on 23rd. We went to camp 1, camp 2. The weather was very bad. See, when I say bad weather, I'm not talking about what it is in Oxford right now. Because we have a luxury of a warm, heated rooms. So when I say bad weather, the weather was -25, -30 with very, very, very strong winds. Then we decided, the team decided, let's go down. So on 24th, we tried to come down to the base camp. And then we were like in the base camp. It was snowing very heavily and all night because you cannot sleep. So first of all, like just the basics, so whenever you climb high in the mountain and you come back down, you have a very amazing sleep. Because what happens is that going up, your body struggles with a low oxygen environment, and it challenges you. Start having headaches, and you have dehydrations, and you feel fatigued. But once you start coming down, which are the rich oxygen, you feel like you're the king of the world. So I was feeling very strong. So I was sleeping in the tent, but snow was so heavy. It was such heavy snow that all night I was using my ice axe, and it was a one-man tent. If somebody has seen, it's a one-man tent. It's so a lot of snow, falls on it, and you have to just, from inside, you just push with the ice axe to clear it. and so that your tent doesn't burst. So that happened, and I tried to relax that day but on 25th, around 10:35 Indian time, or rather, yeah, Indian time, if I'm not wrong. India and Nepal has a 20 minutes gap in time zone, so I think it was India time. I was on a Khumbu glacier, and the whole glacier started moving, and there was a creaking sound. If we all have done some part of geographies in schools. So these glaciers are nothing but a huge mass of ice. So like I could see there is something moving. There's something which is like creaking sound coming, and I didn't knew what is happening. And I was in my sleeping bag, but I knew, my hunch was that something is not right. I came out, and I was wearing a down jacket, and then I just wore my shoes and tied my shoes and was watching Everest, looking at, we cannot see the Everest from the base camp, you cannot see, but you can see other mountains called 𝐿𝐻𝐻𝐻, Lola, Nuptse. They're like the part of the Everest massif. So because in 2014, the last year, there was 14 casualties which happened because of the Lola avalanche, or I would say the crevasse incident. So with the thinking mind, I thought something may come from there, and I was looking there, nothing came. And then as I was standing with my shoes were not even tied, I just the open laces, and I saw somebody running next to me, and he was saying, run, 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 run. I couldn't gather myself what he's saying and what he's trying to tell me to run from. But as I again walked a couple of steps, when I look back, there is a huge mountain. If you just Google, put Mount Pumori on Google Earth, you will get to know that Everest Base Camp is like a horseshoe with the Nuptse, 𝐿𝐻𝐻𝐻, Lola, and Everest on one side and Pumori on the other side. So the Pumori is a mountain, it's on 7,400 meters, and it dislodged because of the earthquake. The earthquake was 7.9 on Richter, and the epicenter was not even 30 kilometers away in the Himalayas. So, people say faith move mountains. I'm not very sure, but earthquake does move mountains, and really they move mountains like crazy. So yeah, so it all happened, and then there was a huge mass of avalanche, like at a speed coming to us, and I thought I was dead, because in my trainings I realized you cannot run away from an avalanche, and it's just you have to choose your death. You have to choose your death. So I just sat down. There was a small. It was too small, It was a feature which was like just a small rock of the size of this laptop. I just sit next to it and put my head between my legs, because with all that avalanche, there's a lot of ice coming, but not just the ice. Ice is, when we play snow and click pictures in Alps, or we do that in US or UK or Canada, that is snow. Ice is very different. If you do something with ice, you're gonna kill your friend. So now the ice was coming, and along with that, there was a lot of rocks. It was huge force of nature. It was fury. And then I just, put my head between my legs, and I remembered my dad, and I knew that it's done, it's over. But there was no point doing anything more. So I could, outrun it. So I just sat there. So I don't know then how much time it was. It was like half an hour, it was 40 minutes. I really don't know, but not more than an hour for sure. So I realized that that I was in a snow pit, and I tried to come out. And when I was coming out, the good thing was that I was able to. And I stood, and like I had snow till here. So when I stood, I was on my 2 legs, so you can understand the kind of mass which came. And then I came out and I gathered all my energy, and then the first thing I saw was that I heard somebody crying. Not crying, rather. Crying is not the right word. Crying in pain. And I just there was so much mist in the air, you couldn't see things because so much of volume of ice was here. So I just tried to go back to that sound where it was coming from. And there, when there was one of my friends, she was a doctor with another team. And she was lying on the floor and her head was in 2 parts. In the morning, we had a coffee together. And now she was in my hands, and there was so her head was in 2 parts, and I had buff in my, I was using a buff. I tried to tie her head. She couldn't speak a word. She was speaking, but I couldn't, she was not able to speak, in a language which I could understand, because she was not able to. But within less than, I think, 30 seconds, she was a dead body. And that reality shook me. That reality, I was shouting. I remember my shouting, doctor, doctor. But then reality dawns on you. You are at 17,500. There is no fucking doctor out here. No one's gonna help you. Then that was the first person I found, somebody I knew and is no more. So I, along with some of my friends, we packed her in a sleeping bag, tied her. But then it was not 1, it was not 2. Till evening 5 o'clock, till we had daylight, we had more than 10 dead bodies. And it was so traumatic. And if you understand geology a bit, that after every big earthquake, it is accompanied by aftershocks, which keep on coming. So we were so scared because we didn't know, because aftershock was coming after every 15-20 minutes, and we used to run after every 15-20 minutes, leaving the bodies to find some refuge behind some rock, thinking of something may happen. So that was very, very traumatizing. For 5 days, because the communications were gone, for the first 2 days, we were not able to understand. No one came for our help. No one. I had nothing left. My tent was taken away by the avalanche. And it was I couldn't understand what's happening. And then, I realized that the tragedy in Nepal is even bigger. And then 4 days later, when I got a as we say, hitchhiking. There was a Russian pilot. A lot of Russian pilots do their earn a lot of money by risking, by doing some risky adventures on helicopters there. So I just I paid for it, and from there I wanted to come to Lukla after on the 5th day. And when there was this was a very unlikely to be a helicopter because it just had a pilot seat. No co-pilot because you have to put up stretchers and dead bodies. And when I sat, I just squatted on the helicopter floor, and there was blood all over on the helicopter floor. And I shouted in pain because that was the time I realized that I was in pain. I had an injury in my pelvic, which because of the cold and because of the heats of the moment, I couldn't even understand it. So then I reached, 6th day I reached Kathmandu, and Kathmandu was doomed. There were dead bodies everywhere. The Bhaktapur, the old city of the old king of Kathmandu, was completely gone. More than 10,000 registered dead in Kathmandu. So I'm sure who will think about the Mavericks on the Everest when so much of death is running in the capital city of Nepal. So yeah, I was very, very, saddened. I would say I was traumatized. it was one of the experiences which I feel very remembering it also gives me goosebumps because I was part of it. But then when I came back, I was then Assistant Commissioner of Police. I couldn't work. Back home, I was not able to work. 2015, I'm talking. So I was not able to work at all. And I used to sleep in, and then, I just woke up thinking that everything is moving. And I think they were like, we always run from, these PTSDs are not for, we are too macho to have a PTSD. So I would also request everyone, you always, try to, whenever you feel that you want to talk, you should find, again, friends are an amazing counselors, but you can also, always go for therapy without even letting people judge you. People will judge you for whatever you do. Okay, so this is not something which is a no-go. I unfortunately did not do that because I was wrong. As I said, we consider machoism and PTSDs and feeling sad and depressed as like, oh, no, I cannot, I'm the greatest guy ever born, I'm the X-Man. Doesn't happen that way. So yeah, so I came back and I couldn't work. And then I realized one thing, that I will be, the only reason I can go ahead in life is that I have to climb the Everest, and all chapters of my life will start after that because I cannot live my life normally. So that year, 2015, I started preparing again. I had to recover my pelvic. It took me some time, but still in extreme weathers, it still gives me some pain. But yeah, I started running again, started doing my trainings. But that time, Nepal had decided that because there was a consecutive incidents on the mountain, they are not going to allow climb in 16, which they later did, but which they earlier were not planning. So I thought, if it is not this, so let me go from the China side. So my insurance for the first time was around 25 lakh Indian rupees. I just increased it to 1.5 crore and I went again. And that time, with the God grace and with, with this, I was able to summit the Everest, and I was able to, get over it. And here the Rumbuk story comes. So while I was going towards from Lhasa, I took a Air China flight from Kathmandu to Lhasa. From Lhasa, we have to go to a place called Shigaste, and from Shigaste, the other called Tingri. A place called Tingri. So there's on the left-hand side, somebody asked that this is a place we should visit. I said, okay, let's go. So it was a mountain, and there was a stairs going up the mountain. I walked. I kept on walking. After some 100 stairs, I saw it was written Rumbuk Monastery on my right. It's so true to be actually, it's not believable, but that's how it happened. And then I went inside, and there was a young monk. I think he was in his teenagers, and this guy, I asked him that I want to visit the monastery. So he took me to the monastery, and I just paid my respects and came out. But it was not I thought there was more to it, and because otherwise it would have not flashed in my head 5 years ago. In 15, I would have never stole a book for that. So then there was I asked him that what else you have. So then I realized they were hermit caves. These hermit caves were as old as civilization. So, but these hermit caves were under the ground. So he took me. It's like there was a pit on the ground. He opened the pit and he followed me. And then we reached a cave where you cannot even, it's difficult to even crawl. And that was the place where the bodhisattvas and the lamas used to do meditation. It was such a powerful place. And I realized when that happened that this year I'm blessed. I will be able to, there's more sense to what I'm doing right now. So so all what you stole is not bad. So I realized it's good to steal books at times. So I had an amazing experience. I happened to climb Everest. I came back, and then I joined Kolhapur. Kolhapur is a place in Maharashtra. So there I was also heading an SIT, special investigation team, which was investigating the Dabholkar Pansare's murders. I'm sure you would have some background if you have heard of Gauri Lankesh. So Gauri Lankesh is the fourth one in the line. So I was taking care of the first two ones. So then I joined Sangli, another district. I was heading these districts. And of course, then I was much more, I was much more balanced on life after doing this. And such amazing experiences I had in working for public. And I realized that public services, it gives you a lot of satisfaction. You are able to bring, you cannot change the world, but you can, of course, bring some change in someone's life. And I think that is worth it. Because we never, and here I think that's an opportunity which this job gives us. That's an opportunity which this profile gives you. After which, that I joined as a deputy commissioner in Bombay, and Bombay was very engaging. And Bombay. So the thing is, it's easy to get lost in Bombay because Bombay is all about big businesses, influential people, and also the Tinseltown glitter. And it's very, easy to get consumed in that vibe because that's not happening outside you. So that is the time when, I was wondering what to do next. And then I was always been policy making, and policy and law has been one of my important domains. In fact, I just finished my law last year. So I was very keen to, work on international law, which I'm doing right now, and policy making. So then I had worked in some policy space before, but I thought, as I said, I fell from Stoke Kangri to learn that I have to go to HMI. Here I have not fallen anywhere, but I thought, let's go to Oxford. And I applied for Oxford, and I think consider myself very fortunate that University of Oxford has given me a scholarship, a full scholarship called a public service scholarship. So I'm here for the next year till maybe November, December. So anyone who is in UK, want to shout out and hi, most welcome. We'll love to see. And I think I have, like, all long and short, I have talked enough. And I don't know what to say more, but I would like to just say one thing, that the most happiness which I got from something which came after Mount Everest. So in the first district, as somebody mentioned, I was in Chandrapur. So Chandrapur was my first district. So there was there was a plan that why not train tribal students into adventure. So then I was being made the mentor of the team. And then I went back again to Chandrapur to select the tribal students. So they were kids who had never seen city, okay? They have never worn shoes. Okay. When I'm saying this, it is in India. It's not I'm not talking about a place which is not in India. They have never worn shoes in their life. So when you see their feet, their feet are very different from the way we have such what is called pedicured feet. Okay. But they had the fire in their heart and in their belly. So we started working with the tribal department, and we started preparing the best 23 kids for doing adventure. And here, as the goal says, I send them to HMI again, Himalayan Mountaineering Institute, where I went. And then we selected, out of the 23, we selected 10 who were the best. And it was a training for over 2 years. And then the time came that what should we name this mission? So, that was a time when, there was no word other than which I chose, which could represent, the courage or the valor in the way the word 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐴 did, my dear friend 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐴. So we named it Mission 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐴, and it's so surreal that out of that 10, 5 were able to climb Mount Everest. And when they came back to India after 2 years of preparation, it was it was a complete isolated 2 years of training. When they came back to India, they were not just, they happened to meet not just the people, the chief ministers or the governors. The president of India hosted a tea for them. The Prime Minister of India hosted a high tea for them. And that was something which, touched me so deeply, because I remember, because I was, that time, if you remember, Maharashtra was burning. Maharashtra, we had Bhima Koregaon, we had riots in Pune, and then it was spreading across the state. So I was very occupied. But so I couldn't go all the places, but I was at one place in Bombay where I saw their parents. They never knew what is a coffee. So when they met the governor stays at Malabar Hill. So there's a coffee day close by, and they were still not wearing any shoes. So I think that is where the power, that is where the conviction lies, that to, somebody who has never worn shoes but aspire to achieve big is wearing mountain boots and climbing the top of the world. I think there cannot be anything more powerful than this, than to strengthening others, empowering others. It is much more than my journey. It is much, relevant, because personally, we humans are greedy people. We have, we accumulate enough for us, but giving back, people understand at the fag end of life. I think we have to do it quick before we lose the plot. So this mission 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐴 is very close to my heart. And I think there are a lot of questions, and now we can come to questions, because I don't think I can add any more value. Saransh, over to you.
Thank you so much, Suhail. I'm totally, listening. 2015 gave me a lot of goosebumps. It's such a, I don't know what should I say. I'm impressed. I am mesmerized. I am totally engulfed. I'm feeling sad also, but I'm feeling so happy as well. And coming from an army background myself, my husband was also a mountaineer. He's done a lot of mountain climbing, but not up to the level, of course. So I can understand what you've been through, the challenges you must have, but I'm sure that has made you a wonderful person, which you are right now sitting in front of us. So I think that is what adds into making your personality, and that what adds into strengthening your character as well. And that is what I think all of us here should be learning today, and should be vibing with that energy, and should be more human, and should be more kind. Yes. And then, yes, Mission Shaurya, it was such a delightful thing. It's wonderful. And I'm sure you must be so proud of those 5 kids, and you must be so delighted to see them, their parents. It's a wonderful thing. And yes, giving back to the society. We are all humans. We are greedy people. We all want to take in, but giving back the same is, I think that's a wonderful thing to learn. So I will not take much time. A lot of questions coming your way. So Sharad, you've raised your hand. Please go ahead with your question. Sharad.
Hi, Suhail sir. This is Sharad.
Yeah, hi, Sharad.
So how is Oxford treating you? How is it different from India?
It's very boring and cold.
That I knew.
Yeah, weekends are still fun. There are a lot of pubs to hang out. Come over whenever you have time.
I always have time. You just say when you are free, and I'll just drop in an hour.
Wonderful.
I'll leave the floor for other important questions.
Yeah, please do that. Please do that.
Suhail, we have a question from Praful. He says, sir, after joining a software company, what made you go for UPSC preparations, and what is your goal to be as a public servant like IPS?
Arey bhai, it's too early to know everything, no? So first of all, I can tell you that it's not that when I was working in a software company also, it's not that I'm sure it's an amazing work, and I can tell you, like, no kidding, and trust me, if you can help me, I'm learning R right now. So if any can get Python and R, I'm learning in Oxford right now. So if somebody can put in some good resources, I would love to take their help. But yeah, it's that my understanding was that why not try for public services, because that will allow me at least to have a bigger canvas of life. I happen to meet much diverse people, and so as somebody is also asking a question about political interference, I can tell you, like, because of public services now, you tend to have friends who are politicians, who are artists, who are in films, who are in softwares, who are in consultancy, who are in public services. And then it allows you to, also the adventurers, so allows you to have the bit of everyone. So I think so that you could translate it back to society in a way which is more powerful impact. So when I left my software, I didn't know what is public services. I just wanted, I'm like, let's try to do something more difficult, because this came very easy. So this, I cannot have a better answer, because it was just this came very easy. Let's do something difficult.
So would you like to tell us about your challenges you faced during your UPSC preparations? That's another question by Amber.
Yeah, food was a big challenge, because all by yourself in that hot, sultry Delhi, and I can tell you that was like living in a pigeonhole was not easy. And then but I think comforts are also the poisons of life, which makes you go dumb over time. So I always think there cannot be a worse drug than comforts. So I don't mind being comfortable, but I don't mind looking for comforts. I do mind looking for comfort. So I think it was for me. It was for me. This whole thing was all about working hard. And I also had thought, to be very frank, I thought, okay, if I couldn't do it, nothing changes. I will do something else. There is nothing called that this has to be done. We try our best, and then it happens.
I have a question, Suhail. What is it that keeps you going on? Like, one quote, one thing we every time, we need something to motivate us. So what is it that keeps you going on?
Ma'am, thanks for the question. It's a wonderful question, but I don't have exactly a right answer to it. I told, as I said, that I am a work in progress. I see that the journeys of life will not be measured by the claps of the hands. That journeys shall always be measured by the blood and sweat on your face. So we should always keep doing things which otherwise you would have not done. And I think I got into that very early in life. So for me, I feel very strongly that it's always it's always good to rather than saying what keeps me going. I don't know what keeps me going, but I know nothing stops me from going. So whatever stops me, I win over it. So I think that is a way to keep going.
Yeah, I think work in progress. I think that is what sums it up, right? So there is another question for you, Suhail. It says, who's your idol? Who do you idolize?
See, there is no one man I can idolize, or women I can idolize. See, I come from a very, very simple middle class family, and like many of us. So we have seen our parents work hard. We have seen our families, working hard for us, and to making sure that we achieve what we do. And I think there cannot be a bigger inspiration than your parents. So your mom and dad are huge inspirations. And for me, they are, of course, the huge inspirations. And then my friends inspire me. See, it will be wrong if I say Obama inspires me. He does not. I will be wrong if I say some Indian whatsoever leader inspires, because I have not known them personally. I think my friends inspire me. My family inspires me, and that is what tries to make a better version of who am I.
Definitely. So there's a question from Astha. She's asking, why did you start climbing, and what or who attracted you to the sport?
So yeah, there's a couple of lines which my friend always says, जो कुछ नहीं करते वो कमाल करते हैं. So मैं कुछ नहीं कर रहा था. So I was doing nothing. So when I was doing, I was fascinated with mountains always, and I think a huge role which I would like to always say that JUIT, without even letting me know, played a huge role in this. I remember my first trekking ever in my life happened in 2002 with we had a officer from Navy. If I could if somebody can correct me with the name, Commander 𝐶𝐢𝐫𝐞𝐜. Is it?
Yeah,
Yes, Commander 𝐶𝐢𝐫𝐞𝐜.
Yeah, Commander 𝐶𝐢𝐫𝐞𝐜. So he took us to that there is a trail which goes down to the village by the name Ratkhana, if I'm not wrong, and the place where my friend fell in love. So yeah, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that my first initiation happened in the hills around college, and later I continued with it. And I think we have to that having 4 years in Himalayas is what a opportunity, and I think it worked well for me. And climbing Everest was not a to-do list, because it cannot be, should not be a to-do list. It can just eventually you graduate from one goal to another. Simply saying, you will not know, how far, like if there is a mountain in front of you, you have to climb that mountain to know what is ahead, which mountain is ahead of it. So I think in that process, I kept on climbing mountains to know which are the further mountains. And I can tell you Everest is one mountain which is like the tallest, but that is not the, you have to understand that we all have our own Everests. It's not that you just have to climb Everest to find your Everest. We all have our own Everests. And so we all have to win it. We all have to conquer it.
Okay, we've got another question from Vinamrata. She's asking, how would you define success in your own words?
Success. I'm not a Sadhguru here. I'm so sorry. Success for me is, just being happy and blissful. What more success you need? Of course, for that you have to work hard.
Yes. There's a wonderful question from Varun Katoch. He's saying, what is something that you would amend about the structure of the services, making it immune to that interference? And can you share some experience when you struggle between the duty and politics?
So the solution is to bring in machines. There's no other solution. So you said how you see that, the first part of the question is that how you can, can you just repeat the first part, ma'am?
What is something you would amend about the structure of the services, making it immune to that interference?
The only way to make it immune from any extraneous things are to bring in a machine, as I said, because we are all humans. And we humans, you have to understand one thing, and we should appreciate that. And it's not just, I'm studying governments in Europe, governments in US. Every governments everyone, there is always pulls and pressures happening. It's not an Indian phenomena, it's a global phenomenon. So I would say that I don't want to amend anything, because systems in India are, I would say, they are strong. They are very strong. But at the same time, you have to understand the personality of the person concerned. That everyone wants their say. I have, when I was in my first posting as a ACP, I had I had a confrontation with the local member of parliament. And it happens. And now it is on you that are you first of all strong enough to take people head on for anything. That's part of the personality. So there your personality comes in. No system can immune you from pressures. It's your own conscience which can keep you safeguarded from all pressures. And I don't think so. What we see, there can be changes, pressures here and there, but systems it's not a shul happening here. We see a movie shul. It's not the way world works actually. So please don't make a make a picture of administration based on movies which come on TV. Neither we have Singhams on floor, and neither we have Bachcha Yadavs in the house. Yeah,
definitely that. So there's another question from Ajay. Actually, a lot of questions on IPS training where student wants to ask that, is it hectic? Is it tough? What actually happens on the physical ground? And what are certain things to be kept in mind to not to be rejected for IPS?
So first of all, I can tell you that I had my worst fitness levels. My BMI was highest while I was in IPS training. Okay. When I say this, I mean to say that there was not a problem for me to there was nothing which challenged me enough in physical. I was perfectly okay because I have been doing my own things before that. But for anyone, it is not difficult. I don't think it's difficult. Of course, there will be time when you have to carry 25 kg on your shoulder and walk for 40 kilometers, but you will be good by then. There will be time when you have to, using your two hands, you have to take a rope up and climb. With time, you can do that. There will be times when you have, from morning you start shooting until the next morning, keep on shooting, and you don't have to blink, but you will do that. There will be time when you will be on a stallion and the stallion will kick you out and you will climb again. You will do it. Not difficult.
Perhaps because you've already done it, you think it's not difficult?
No, it's not that. See, I am not, I don't want to give here, I am with, all these friends, we are all from the same alma mater. So I'm not here to give any wrong perception of anything. So I will not say anything which I don't mean. When I'm saying it's not difficult, it is not for anyone, not for me, for anyone.
Okay, good. So there's another question from Arushi. She's saying, should we have a backup plan for the UPSC, or should we be totally dedicated to what we are preparing for?
Oh yeah. So Arushi, if you want to have a backup plan, you can have. See, I don't believe in plan Bs. Trust me, I've never believed in plan Bs. I think it's better to have to fail, but fail. There's a word. How should I say this? Yeah, I think I will try to put your this thing into perspective. It says that I would like to fail, but fail in its own completeness, to appreciate the value of failure, then to jump from one failure to an immediate less failure. I would like to fail completely, because that also is such a learning. And I don't think that you should keep your backup plans, but it's not for me. I've never kept my backup plans in life, so it has worked for me till date. So I would like to go that way for the future too.
Yeah, there's a question from the VC sir, Suhail. He's asking, should the kids really hide their success over failures with their parents?
Do the kids
should the kids really hide their success or failures with their parents? From their parents, maybe.
See, it's a lot to do with. Sir, thanks for your question. So it's a lot to do with the parenting, I would say. There have been times when you don't want to talk to your parents about your failures because you think you are responsible for it. So I also never disclose few things to my parents. I told you, because I never wanted them to be part stake to it. So if you have to but I feel that's a very that equation depends upon how the relationship between parents and the kids are. I think successes must be shared with parents, because I think that makes them happy, and I think this is one of our goals of our life, to make our parents happy. At the same time, I'm not very sure about not telling telling them about your failures, it depends. If you think they can help you elevate back to make it good and successful, you should. But otherwise, it's okay. Your parents should not know every wrong thing you do in life, because that also, with age, they also have to be protected from your maverick instincts.
But I think I would like my child to, share all his failures,
All
everything with
parents,
me.
ma'am, all parents want that. All parents want that. But I'm talking
Yes.
here from the kids' side. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. So I'll be taking Ashok sir. He's raised. Yes, Ashok sir, please. Your question.
What motivates you the most?
Sir, there is no one answer to what motivates me the most, but for sure, I think a continuous pursuit for new experiences. I think I always feel that I'm into the business of experiences. So I always try to expose myself to experiences, and
A-
I think that motivates me the most.
Any single formula for short success?
So trust me, had I knew it, I would have cracked it.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, sir. There is a question from Rohit. He's asking, sir, you were working for ATS. What was the most difficult challenge you faced?
Yeah, I was with ATS, and ATS is working on very, very sensitive and important challenges which country faces. And I'm so sorry I cannot disclose these things to you, but I can assure you that the organization is amazing and it works on that domain.
There's a question from Professor Saurabh Bansal also. Saurabh?
Yeah. Suhail, very nice to hear your journey. I just want to know, how will you think what major changes bring in last 15 years from when you see yourself at 2006 when you passed out from JUIT, and now after getting so many responsibilities?
Changes in me?
Yeah,
Yes.
changes in you.
So is that it changes in me? Okay. Sir, to be very frank, I am still. I think I have learned the art of it can communicate it in a better way. But at the same time, I carry the same energy. I carry the same vibe. I try to do that, and I think I do that right now. I don't want to change anything. I just want to, because the constitution is made. I just need to do some amendments. So, so I happen to do that amendments with talking to my professors here, talking to my friends here, and meeting you guys. So yeah, so just few amendments here and there. It's too late to change the constitution.
Okay, there's a question from Sudhir sir also. Syal sir.
Hello, Suhail.
Sir,
Yeah,
good evening.
yeah. There is no question as such. Just a comment. Actually, when I saw you after so many years, I saw you changed morphologically, but the glow and smile in your eyes is the same. So
Thank you, sir.
know that keep going with these two things, I think, and you imbibe the things very calmly. And I think this is one of the very big reason that the God is with you and your hard work is there. And I'm so much delighted to see you. And this talk is so enjoyable that I feel that it should be going on as such. And coming from JUIT, talking from Oxford, very good experience and very nice to see you here. And I'm very happy.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. It is a sheer pleasure to have known you, and I would love to see you again.
Thank you.
Okay, Suhail, almost to the end of the session. Any last few words you would like to share with us?
Yeah, so yeah, just a small thing I would like to, I was just, as I can see people exiting the room, there is one thing I was wanting to put across, and I would like, uh, the alumni and of course the VC sir and the Dean sir and Bansal sir and of course ma'am using your good offices here to do something about it. And so I believe, the education is a great equalizer. Education, there cannot be a greater equalizer than education. I have my friend Pranav here. I have my other friends here. We all are, wherever we are. Sanjay is here. I'm told Sanjay is also in London. So I would not mind if you host me for dinner someday.
Come over, man. I'm just around the corner. 1 hour drive from your place.
Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna catch up. So I feel that Sanjay, Pranav, me, everyone, we are all, a consequence of good education. And though it has worked for us, it has not worked for many. And I had been of late working on. With one of my friends who is right now the PS to the Cabinet Minister for Culture in New Delhi, and we were brainstorming on an idea of how to strengthen the hand 10th or 12th. So I was just wondering that now you have such rich alumni, and I'm going back to the model which happens in Oxford. And that they have a huge alumni across the world, which they use to, sponsor people across the country to educate them, to enable them, and going ahead to, so in that, if we can form a society led by the alumni, if I say led by the alumni, which means that of course the secretary and the members will be, they can be the faculty, and alumni can pitch in with funding, and I would love to be the first one to do that, and which can be used as I'm talking about a society format. I'm like registered under Societies Registration Act 1860, so that it becomes an institutional thing, and then we can get applications every year, which is vetted by the good offices of the Vice Chancellor or the Registrar, and people who are not able to achieve because of the money, they're able to get education somewhere. So in this way, as I said, we'll be able to at least make a difference in one life. I think that will be huge. So when I say this, I don't say like people in JUIT. I'm not talking about like calling people to JUIT. Like I start with 10 applications a year. 10 applications a year means you have to invest 1 lakh per year, which means 10 lakh per year, which means if 10,000 rupees is given by one alumni, you don't need more than 100. So the power of scale is huge, and you can achieve. So, but it has to be a proper setup through the institution and alumni led, because alumni have that vibrance, as I saw in the team. So I think that will be good in building up the country and to giving chances to people who otherwise would have not got.
That's a wonderful, very pious thought there. Yes, VC sir.
Suhail,
sir,
am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So I joined this place 5.5 months back. Worked in Thapar Institute for 24 years.
Sir.
And I mean, by my understanding to that place, I gave the similar thought to Saurabh. Same ideas. That whatsoever you are saying. And then, in that particular institute, we have fellowships. I mean, say you are 2006 graduate. So you can have, say, 4 fellowships for the students who are really needy. So that model is really exists in lot many institutes. And मैं actually वो खुद कहना नहीं चाहता था that ये एक बहुत ही important outreach होता है passed out students की तरफ से, that how can they help it. So I did say that you help us in developing courses, in developing the other things in the institute, in the university. But yes, this is also very important that we give back something to this society. Believe in me, I mean, if this happens, that say your batch comes forward in sponsoring 1 scholarships or 2 scholarships. Now the arrangement is very simple there. Say we will open one account, the money will be placed in that account, and by the interest of that amount, the fellowships will be given.
Exactly, sir.
That kind of arrangement actually is possible. Yes, you are also saying it correctly that we should have some formal registered association.
So just
Yes,
to
so we
share
will
with
work
you,
on that. I will,
just
yes,
to share with you, sir, and Suhail, Pranav, and Madhur, everybody for information. I'm already working on the same thing for 𝐺UIT, creating a
okay.
model, and we'll come back with you some updates on that.
Okay.
That will be amazing. Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you so much. Thank you so really so. But yes, apart from that, I mean, financial help, there are a lot many other ways. And one very important idea is this, that you contribute in developing the even courses here, which I keep on I mean requesting my earlier students also, that is also very important that you tell us that what is happening in the industry as of this day. We should move in this direction. So that is also important. So thank you for bringing this point, Suhail, in the discussion. And then the other point, I mean the idea that I asked you, that should we the kids tell the things to the parents. I mean, you are successful. I mean, there can be a case where the things go to the extremely different end. So I believe that I mean the kids should keep on telling this to the parents. So parents, I mean they have a larger heart, I believe. So are you a father? I mean you have kids, Suhail?
No, sir. I am a kid, sir.
Okay, you're a kid. Great. So probably ये parents ही समझ पाएंगे इस question को कि ये मैंने क्यों पूछा है.
हाँ जी sir.
क्योंकि
but I think the parentings have changed quite a lot. I think these days parents are very open. We have very at least I'm with my son is very open. We have a lot of discussions and we discuss our failures. I discuss my failures with him and he discusses his, and we discuss our success also.
It's really great. I mean,
it's more of a parallel equation now.
Suhail, I mean, if अगर हम अपना नेगेटिव पॉइंट व्यू पेरेंट्स को बताएंगे और एक दिन 2 दिन परेशान रहेंगे, and then they will come with a help, with a very positive help, I believe.
So each to his own. Each to his own, sir.
Yes, sir. So we've got a question from Vivek sir also. Vivek sir.
Hi, Suhail. Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I do remember the days when I taught you in 2006. I think 2003 I had joined, and 2003 to 2006 he was there in the 𝐺UIT.
Sir, bilkul, sir. Continuously.
And we had very good time because during that day we were also like young students like you.
So you're still young, sir. I would like to believe that you're still young.
No. One question is my daughter was asking, because nowadays the generation to have lot many ways to mean they get scattered into lot many means. So how will you recommend to get aligned within a single passion, single goal? So that is the one question. So how to focus to a single goal?
Sir, Gautam Buddha, in one of his treatises, he said that mind is a monkey, and which means that you can it will jump from one branch to another, to another, to another. And the more you want to discipline that, it will run more. So first of all, disciplining the monkey is not, I think, the achievable goal, because if you start telling your mind, oh, be there, trust me, it's not going to be there. That is how, unfortunately, the mind is. The thing is, we have to rather, bring in an enabling environment, get, everybody should be exposed to everything, sports, libraries, music, biking, mountains, and then there will be a time when a person will start going the way it is. And then you should not be saying, oh, music is not interesting enough for me, so don't do it. Or the only thing is that canvas has to be huge. When I was I'm sure, there was earlier, the canvas was either be an engineer or be a doctor. So now the canvas is not that. I think get exposed to everything. Let us not focus on everything, but eventually time will come that you will gravitate to a particular thing and the monkey will settle to one branch.
I hope so. It does early, because these days these monkeys are not settling anywhere. They are running and running fast. There is so much to do, I think. So that is what, the students these days are, because the classroom teaching has not been there from past 2 years. So it's very tough for this generation to actually focus on one thing. And the internet, the iPads, the iPhones have opened up a vast area for them. And they think that they can do everything. And parents want them to do one thing. Yes, Vivek sir?
Yeah, you are very much true, ma'am. Actually, the student has made their virtual world around them, so they get isolated from their family. So the actual relationship, the actual social connection, they are away from that, and they made their own virtual worlds. They all the time get engaged into that.
विवेक, ये हमारे लिए भी true है.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not only kids, true for us also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's a very good interaction with Suhail, and thank you very much for this wonderful talk, Suhail.
No, his pleasure is mine, sir. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much. Yes, anyone? Okay, I would like to invite Saransh. He's the PR head of the alumni cell also. To give a vote of thanks.
Pranav has raised his hand, so if Pranav can go before.
Pranav, yes. Oh, sorry, Pranav, I didn't see. Yes, Pranav.
No, actually, I thank you for accepting my hand raise. On a lighter note, I'm from the same batch Suhail was, and we shared a very good connection back then. And as I remember, when we joined, the admin office was a small room with tin shade, and the main academic block was not even built properly. We were studying, and the part of it was still being built. What I want to know is, how is the college like now?
It's beautiful, Pranav. We come under the best, one of the most 10 beautiful campuses in India. The helipad is still there, and it's as amazing as you all left. The mandir is also still there. It is as beautiful, as pious, as good as it could be. Almost everything is there. So, and I think where you all had your shed and the classes were taken there is a basketball court there now. We have Mughal Gardens. It's a beautiful campus. I think you can visit the JUIT site and see all the pictures there. The campus
I would love
come
to.
up beautifully. It's like
we have a short video too.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, I would love to see.
I'll
There you
share
go.
the link in the
Just
description.
been shared by Achyut. The link has just been shared.
Thank you. I was just gonna ask for it.
I have added
Yeah.
one. I have added one more. You can enjoy that as well, please.
Yeah, and if you can visit our Facebook profiles, I think you will find a lot of FBP, a lot of videos. We keep on putting a lot of pictures. The JUIT looks as beautiful, romantic, mesmerizing as it could be, and of course, because of the weather, it is one of the best places to study also. So students get
Yeah.
that exclusive environment of peace, good energies, good air, and of course a very nice bunch of highly qualified faculty is there, and of course VC sir is there to guide us now. So with that, anything else, Pranav? So it's a beautiful
No,
camp.
I just wanted to, ask, how it looks like, and, do we still have those annual, the
Yes,
the
we do have
festival?
lay yes,
What do we used to call it? I
lay
can't remember now.
festus, if that is what.
Lay Fiestas. Yes, yes.
Yes.
We still,
Yes, Lay Fiestas, we still have it as a 3-day event. Yes, we are having it in March,
amazing,
April.
amazing.
Yes, every year.
Yeah.
The tradition,
with a
I
big
think
budget
the
now.
first batch traditions are carrying on.
So,
Almost
sir.
all
Yeah,
yes, Sunil sir
Pranav,
is here.
with
Yes.
with a big budget, and now we don't pay 250 rupees.
Khaza, it's lovely to hear your voice.
We don't pay 250 rupees for that fest. We have got funds now for that.
Yeah, I like that. Yep. Before we move on, I just want to make one comment about Suhail here. Suhail is still the same. Back then, the personality hasn't changed a bit, except for he has grown this big beard now. But I can see, the heart is still the same. Yeah, good to hear you, Suhail, after so long.
It was pleasure, Pranav.
Thank you so much.
Tanu, you
Pranav.
can move on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pranav. Saransh, over to you for the vote of thanks.
Now, I, Saransh Rohila, Head of Public Relations of JUIT Alumni Cell, would like to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on the behalf of Alumni Cell. At the outset, we would like to thank our alumnus, Mr. Suhail Sharma, for his gracious presence and impactful deliverance, speckled with useful words and rich experience and wisdom. We would also like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajendra Kumar Sharma, and Dean of Academics and Research, Professor Ashok Kumar Gupta, for accepting our invitation and gracing us with their honorable presence. My heartfelt thanks to the head of various departments and faculty for their valuable presence and encouragement in all our efforts. We would also support and motivation. A special thanks to the organizing committee for their unflinching support and hard work. Our heartfelt thanks to the attendees